Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be doing a full review of the UREVO treadmill. It is a 3-in-1 foldable treadmill with a removable desk, the option of folding down the frame completely to insert and operate it under any standing desk. It has a 3 horsepower motor for walking as slow as 0.5 miles per hour, all the way up to running 8.6 miles per hour. It could fold up and down that under 2 seconds, and comes with a remote for easy adjustability of speeds and 2 preset buttons at 3 miles per hour and 6 miles per hour. And in this video I'm just going to be going over why I got it, really the assembly of it, go over function and features, show it in action, answer maybe a couple top FAQs, and then talk about really one thing that I love about it. So I have really actually 3 reasons for getting this treadmill. One is I am a long distance runner and run around 40 to 50 miles per week, and sometimes due to weather or because of the family schedule, I'll just need to stay home and watch my boys, and so I needed a way that I could run at home and do so at my max in order to still qualify for Boston, which conveniently enough is actually running at 8.6 miles per hour, which is the limit of this treadmill. So putting me just under like a 3-hour, 5-minute marathon, which is my qualifying time. So that's the first reason. Second reason is because I love to read books. And I find myself walking around my house, my basement, and neighborhood just reading a book, and thought, why not just get a treadmill? I could do that in one place. I could read and walk and in one place. And then the third reason is because I run several businesses from my home, and I wanted a way to remain productive and active at the same time. And on the off occasion, I just wanted to browse social media or like watch a good movie on Netflix. I could still do so while getting in a couple miles walking. So just having this for a few days has already proven to have met all of my needs. So a couple things about it is that it is pretty heavy. It is 86 pounds, so it is pretty hefty, but it is reliable. The maximum speed is 8.6 miles per hour. The weight capacity is 286 pounds, and at maximum speed, it's given off less than 25 decibels. So one thing that I love right off the bat is that there was like no assembly or setup. So there are no screws needed to like loosen, no levers needed to like pull or anything. The treadmill just easily folds up in less than like 3-4 seconds and is just ready to go. And it can fit really into like 3 modes. You can do like with the bar completely down, or you can just be walking. There is the what I would call running mode, which doesn't have the desk on top, but allows you to actually run. And then there's like the work mode, which is like putting the desk or installing the desk on the top and being able to work while walking. And then one of the things that I love is that it has this work mode that can easily know that your running status, and it has these 8 silicone shock absorbers, which will actually reduce the impact on the knee and the wrist joints. And then the dimensions are 42.5 inches by 16.5 inches, which give you a wider running surface, which allows you to have like more free space when running. So once you've set up the frame, it has these 2 little levers on both the left and the right hand side, and it's great just for when you want to put the treadmill, like the handles, the railing, back down. For walking mode, it came with 2 Allen wrenches, 2 lubricants, and then it has this magnetic strip, which allows it to actually activate. If that magnetic strip is not attached to a point that I'll show you in just a second, the thing will just go crazy and it will not work. So the thing needs to be on, and it's just kind of like every other treadmill. So it has this little yellow magnetic strip. You just attach the red magnet right there, and it kind of like locks it firmly in place. And then if that ever falls off, the whole treadmill's going to shut off. It's like emergently shut off. It came with this plug, which you insert into the front bottom part, and then it has this on or off switch that's right next to it, and then if you turn it on to on mode, it turns on. The little remote is actually kind of inserted and then taped over onto the treadmill and the bottom right hand side of the treadmill. It comes with this like little plastic sleeve, and it came with 2 AAA batteries that you just simply insert into the back of the remote, and then has these 3 buttons, a plus, a minus, and then a power button, and I'll show a little later in the video how that actually works. And then when the treadmill is actually turned on, there are a couple of buttons, and this display screen on the middle of the railing actually lights up. You have the start button, you have the stop button, you have this like slow down or speed up buttons, the plus or minus, and then you have these presets, the 3 miles per hour and then the 6 miles per hour. And then the display screen shows a couple of things. It shows calories there, it shows distance here, it shows your speed, and then it shows the amount of time that you've actually been running. And then obviously it'll start once you press the start button. And I'm sorry, it actually starts at 0.6 miles per hour. And then by simply using all of the buttons, you can adjust the time, the presets, stop it, start it, etc., and everything will just kind of pick up accordingly. And then it actually has this little frame right in the front by the display screen, which actually will hold a and then it has this little flip up, which will hold like a book or an iPad. And then it has these 2 hooks, these anchors, that pop out on the side, which will actually like lock onto the frame and then hold the entire desk firmly in place. So simply by inserting it onto the railing, you'll then take the anchors on the bottom and the bottoms, they will just like latch on and then really hold it firmly in place. And that's on both sides, the right and the left side. So here's me just in walking mode, actually in working mode, working on the desktop. I have an iPad right there and a little like a keyboard that kind of goes with my iPad. Just saying the note, the little flip up thing on the desk is smaller than my 12.9-inch iPad. And so just keep that in mind because it actually doesn't hold my iPad horizontally, like the landscape mode. It would have to hold it in portrait mode. So as you can see here, let me show you. So it's too small to actually hold my iPad that way. So the only way that it'll hold it is actually like portrait, which doesn't really work for me. So if you have a smaller iPad than a 12.9, it'll work great. If you have it like connected to a keyboard like mine, it'll work just fine as well. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna go over some of the features. We have right here on the right-hand side the remote control slot. It's like the card slot for the remote control. You actually have the tread belt, the side bars on both the left and right-hand side. You have this mobile portable pipe on the rear end, which you're able to grab and then actually maneuver the treadmill into different places. The left and the right armrest, the multifunctional table, that little iPad bracket, and then this little indentation pocket in the multifunctional table actually acts as like a pocket for the remote. So you can actually close the iPad like lever, and then you can leave the remote inside, which allows you to be able to actually turn on the treadmill and activate it without having to like take the desk off, turn it on through the display screen, put the desk back on, etc. So here's a close-up view of all the buttons on the display screen. You got the speed, up and down, stop. There's the display screen. You've got the start, 3, and the 6 mile per hour presets. And then, like I said, it has this little like rivet, this little holder. For an iPhone, that's an iPhone 11 Pro Max, but it has no case on it, and it's pretty snug. So I'm not sure what that's used for, unless you're like reading a manual, because I don't know of anyone that actually has a phone without a case. But if you pull off the magnetic thing, that error code shows up, E07, basically saying that like, yeah, this is not going to work until you get a magnet back on that little yellow space. And when you do, everything kind of goes back to normal. Okay, so this took some wizardry, so I'm just going to show you in the video. It's going to save you a half hour of time trying to read through the instructions and try to figure it out on your own. So the way to sync up the actual remote to the treadmill is by following this procedure. So the first thing you do is you turn it on and then you press on the 3 mile per hour and the 6 mile per hour at the same time and press it until that P and that little dot kind of light up on the display screen. Then you turn on the remote by pressing on the power button, and then once that's on, then you press the minus and the plus button on the remote at the same time. This like little half plus sign will show up, and once it does that, then you know that you've properly synced the remote to the treadmill. So then you can actually press the start button, and then by pressing the start button and then pressing the plus or the minus sign will actually allow you to control the speed of the treadmill. And then when you're all done, you simply press the power button, and then the thing will go all the way back down to 0. Slowly, and then the whole thing will shut off. And then once everything is synced up, it has these 4 little lights on the remote that kind of show you where you're at. So the first is the speed, then it shows you the time that you've been running, then it'll go to the distance, it'll show you how far that you've actually ran or walked, and then the last one is showing the amount of calories that you've actually burned. And then like I said, if you press the power button again, it turns it all the way back down to 0. So once everything is synced up and you actually have the removable desk actually installed, then you can control the entire treadmill by just simply having this little remote. And then like I showed earlier, you can just put it in that little spot, close it off, and then you're good to go. So I actually set it up perfectly behind my couches, so now I can watch Netflix if I want to, I can set up my iPad, which you see there, and I can do work, and then also I've got my book in my hand, which allows me to actually read, all while walking on the treadmill. And then one of the things that I'm so glad that I did was I actually set up a mirror on the side of the treadmill, which enables me to be able to see my form and how I'm actually landing while I'm running. This has been extremely helpful for helping me understand my form, my cadence, my foot strike, and by having all of that information available, it really helped me to have higher quality runs and do so without injury. And then the last thing is that it actually came with these 2 lubricating oil bottles, which allow me to just kind of keep everything running smooth and lubricated so that it doesn't like tighten up or break. All in all, I'm thrilled that I got this treadmill. In less than 10 minutes, I had this thing up and running, and I'm so happy that it's versatile and I get to utilize it in the 3 ways that I want to use it: walking, working, or actually running. I see myself putting thousands of miles on it simply walking and reading and working, or scrolling mindlessly through social media, or in actually preparing for like an upcoming marathon. I love how easy it is to go to different modes within seconds, how easy it is to move it around with the bar at the end of the treadmill, and the ability I have to control all of it from the remote. But I think most importantly, it's really going to enhance my life overall and help me stack productivity and being physically active at the same time, which really just saves me time overall to allow me to allocate it to the rest of my time spending with my kids, my wife, or pursuing other hobbies and interests. So anyways, that's my product review of the UREVO treadmill, and I hope you find it helpful.